We actually did this topic like a year ago in 2 separate videos for both designer and niche. I just wanted to test the waters with an updated version for 2024, starting with niche, as you can see. Now, if you'd like to see a designer version or maybe just another niche version if you don't care about designer, then let me know by liking this video, leaving a comment about something in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. So this video kind of speaks for itself. It is a simple topic, but it's not a basic one. I have 10 fragrances that I've selected and I will share with you that I believe can be worn basically all year round for the heat or for the more cooler weather, and everything in between, of course. Now, my choices are going to be based more on scent profile than they are on performance. This is because I can speak pretty objectively about how these fragrances will smell, the overall olfactory experience, and I think these scents just cater to just about every season. Just talking about the scent personalities, but in terms of performance, obviously me nor anyone else can make any guarantees about how they're going to perform. Obviously, you should adjust your sprays depending on the environment or situation, which you should be doing anyway, and I'm sure most of you guys already do that. And I believe that in general, fragrances that aren't necessarily beast mode tend to be the most versatile because you can spray them fairly liberally. You have a higher ceiling in terms of how much you can put on depending on the situation, so therefore you have more control over their presence. Nonetheless, there will still be a variety of fragrance performance across my selections, and in terms of scent profile, I wanted to choose fragrances that have a good balance of freshness with some kind of warmth or depth, maybe a little bit of sweetness, but I just want a duality here. So something that does shine with some heat under the sun, but something that still smells like it makes sense on a cooler night when the sun has already gone down. All fragrances I'm going to mention will be linked in the description as usual, so let's dive right into it. First one up here is from the house of Amouage. I'm going to start with a handful of fragrances that I have featured more than the rest in this video, so we'll get the old out of the way and then we'll get more into some of the newer stuff, so stay tuned for the back half of the video if you really want some newer options from this channel and maybe to YouTube in general. But Enclave is a fantastic fragrance. I don't think it gets the love it deserves, even though it's not a new fragrance, at least for me and this channel. I know there's many of you out there who like it. I know there's some of you who don't like it, and that is the sign of a great fragrance. Ironically enough, polarization means there's definitiveness, means that it's not just trying to please everyone. I love that. However, I find this to be a very pleasant scent, but it is a strong one. Man, so good. And its strength can be its weakness if you are irresponsible with your sprays. What I love about this fragrance is that it executes that duality that I'm talking about. It has this pretty extreme freshness from mint and cardamom. There is a very realistic, fresh, spicy, herbal mint with a little bit of sweetness in there that is so invigorating. It just captures the senses, but as you let it dry down, you start to notice, man, there's a lot more going on under the hood with this one. There is this beautiful, sweet, sticky, warm labdanum, something a little bit smoky about it, maybe even a little bit leathery, and it just gets more ambery, sweeter, warmer, and it just kind of settles down on the skin from day to night. It is a lovely and very versatile scent profile. You could dress it up or down. I think it does maybe a little bit better dressed up. It just has this classiness to it. It has this distinction that I think will suit you well if you dress the part. So that is Enclave. That's our first pick. I think it's a great all-weather niche fragrance. Let me know what you think. Next one up is another beloved fragrance. This is from the house of Mancera, probably one of my favorites from the house, period, and it's Aoud lemon mint. Again, nothing new here. It's been around several years, maybe doesn't get quite as much talk as it used to when it came out, but I really enjoy this stuff. It is again a nice duality. There is a good bit of variety throughout the scent. You have a freshness, you have a brightness. Yes, there's lemon. Yes, there's a little bit of a minty quality. It is kind of a sweet, bright, fresh lemon, maybe a touch of powderiness when you first spray it on, but it dries with this almost vanillic-like woody quality. There is obviously, per the name, oud in here, which adds some edge, it adds some depth, but it's nothing off-putting. And believe it or not, it is an oud fragrance that you can pull off in the warmer weather. It does just fine under the sun, but because it does have quite a bit of sweetness to it, watch the sprays with this one. Sweetness gets intensified with heat. So if you're going to spray this like 5 or more times on a hot day, good luck to you and everyone else you know and love. I wouldn't spray this any more than 2 or 3 times during the summertime. In fall and winter, 4 to 5. And that's even more than enough because it's not a weak fragrance. I want to know what you think of Aoud Lemon Mint. If you haven't tried this one yet, if maybe you came along the community long after the hype for this one, there's going to be links to a sample down below to check it out. We have an absolute classic from the house of Bond No. 9. This is one of the few fragrances I really enjoy from this house and really stand behind, and I do believe it's a beautifully versatile fragrance. This is Bleecker St, again, a beloved scent, nothing new here. This came out sometime 20 years ago maybe, and there's a reason why it's still popular today, and I think it does strike that beautiful balance of having a freshness and having depth. There is a pretty starkly green grassy quality. I love it. It just captivates me. It just calms me. I love the feeling I get when I first spray this on. It's ozonic and fresh. It's cooling in a way, almost like fresh air over a green lawn or something. But immediately there is this fruitiness. There's some beautiful berry in there that adds a little bit of a mouth-watering quality. And even behind that, as it dries on the skin, there's elements like caramel, maybe even vanilla. To be honest with you, it's not the most natural smelling scent altogether. It does have a little bit of this synthetic designer feel. However, the scent personality itself, the complexity that it does have, I would call it a niche fragrance. It's not your average run-of-the-mill scent. There's some thought here. It is well composed, and I do think it is incredibly versatile. Let me know what you think if you've tried Bleecker St from Bond No. 9. If we're going to talk about versatility, man, we got to talk about a Fougere. Fougeres can just be worn anywhere, anytime, day or night. If you want a classy, sophisticated vibe that is not overly serious, then you need to check out a Fougere, and there's too many good ones to choose from. But one I'll feature right here is one of the reasons why we have Fougeres to begin with. This is Fougere Royale from the house of Houbigant. Now, it's not this very bottle that is the originator, but it was recomposed, so to speak, in 2010 by perfumer Rodrigo Flores Roux, but it is based on the seminal profile of the aromatic Fougere, which is 200 years old at this point. And what it is at its core is a fresh, kind of soapy, herbal, mossy fragrance with some warmer, sweeter touches as it dries down. There's a cleanliness to a Fougere that is timeless, and it is the lavender or maybe the geranium. There's a number of ways you can accomplish this aromatic quality. Sometimes you have some herbal elements that are more green, herbaceous, so to speak, and you often have woody and mossy elements that ground it. Maybe some tonka bean or vanilla or amber, things like that. I'm kind of giving you a basic rundown of what a Fougere is. I've talked about it a lot. I'll link a video up here if you want to learn more about Fougeres, you want to take a deeper dive into what it's all about. But I think this is a fantastically versatile fragrance. If you want that vibe, you can wear it day or night, hot or cold, doesn't matter. It's going to smell great. That is Fougere Royale from Houbigant. I don't typically do this in a regular 10 fragrance list, and that is featuring more than one fragrance from a certain brand, but I couldn't pass this one up. I don't talk about this one very much. We're talking about from the house of Amouage. This is Lineage. Lineage confuses me. I scratch my head when I smell it and I'm looking at the notes, because when you first spray this, it smells like the air over the ocean. There's this minerally sea breeze, oceanic feel to it that is fresh, that is moving. There's something about it that has motion to it. It is invigorating. It is also quite strong. It really captures your attention. And you look at the notes and I'm like, how did Corinne Vinchon do that? How did she do that? I don't know. I'm not familiar with all these ingredients in there, but somehow she made that vibe. There's a saltiness here. There's this uplifting oceanic quality, but it is not overtly fresh. Don't get me wrong. This is not like Aqua di Gio. No, this is not like your average summer freshie. There's a lot going on in here, and primarily incense, which Amouage is known for. You have this wispy, fresh, smoky incense from lots of olibanum. You do have lots of myrrh resin, which Amouage is also known for. So there is this grounding, earthy, sweet, warm, resinous feel that as it dries down gets smokier and earthier and warmer and a little sweeter, but still kind of carries echoes of its aquatic freshness when you first spray it on. I do think that its strength for it being mostly aquatic kind of plays in its favor to make it pretty versatile, and I do think that the way that it develops on the skin from fresher to almost warmer again makes it very versatile for year-round use, and that's why it's in this video. Let me know what you think of Lineage if you've tried it. Now, I would be surprised if there are more than, I don't know, 20 of you watching this video who have heard of this fragrance, and I'd be surprised if 10 of you of those 20 have even smelled it. You don't see anyone talk about this fragrance. You hardly see anyone talk about this brand. I have to be honest and say I haven't worn this in quite a while. I've had it for years, but I haven't worn it in a few years for no good reason at all. I've just had lots of stuff coming in through the collection. So I want to give this some wear. I want to give this some love. This is from Floraiku. They call it Between Two Trees. This is such a unique but simple fragrance. There's something very simple about it. It's not a whole lot of constituents. Grapefruit, I think maybe mate tea, some kind of woody element. What it kind of comes together to be is this green orange citrus. It's like both colors together, green and orange, with this sharp herbal quality and earthiness. There's a bitterness from this grapefruit, and there's a dry woody feel that's almost a touch smoky, but it is pretty fresh. It is mostly a fresh fragrance that is so different. I've smelled nothing else that smells quite like Between Two Trees. And even though it is so unique, I do think it can be pretty dang versatile. It has a distinction to it, but its simplicity makes it kind of easy to understand, just very unfamiliar all at the same time. So you can wear it anytime, anywhere. Let me know if you've tried this one, if you're one of the few who have checked out Between Two Trees from Floraiku. We're going to talk about an easily forgotten fragrance from the House of Creed. I understand why people don't absolutely rave about it, because I wouldn't call it remarkable. However, I would call it a little bit special and very versatile. This is Tabarome, I think also known as Tabarome Millesime, and this is a fresh, almost aquatic leaning tobacco fragrance. The easiest way I can describe this is if you like Millesime Imperial and you want to add some earthy tobacco that is still mostly fresh and transparent, that's what you get with this one. There is this citrusy top that is bright, kind of lemony, sunshiny in a way, but it dries in this dusty, slightly earthy, but again, still fresh and transparent tobacco note that makes it classy, makes it very gentlemanly. Some might say makes it smell a little, I don't know, old manish. I don't really get that vibe. It's sophisticated to me. It's a refined smelling scent, but its freshness makes it easy to wear. Its depth makes it easy to wear for the cooler weather, but it does fine when it's hot. So it's a perfect fit for this video. I want to know what you think if you've tried this one. I'm going to link to a sample down below if you haven't tried it. I'm sure many of you have not. And if you have, let me know. I had to spray this next fragrance before we started the video because I haven't smelled it in a while. And similar to the Floraiku, I haven't worn it in some time. Again, I've had it in the collection for a few years. I always love it for a sniff from me. It's so interesting, so different, but easy to understand and very enjoyable to wear. For whatever reason, I just got away from it. This is from a house you don't hear much about called Atelier Materi.
Try it! I did my best.
This is called Narcisse Taiji. And as per the name, it is based on Narcissus. When you spray it on, you're going to get something that is sweet, kind of powdery, fresh, green in a way, and earthy. I think there might be pear. When you first spray it on, there is this fruitiness that is kind of crisp, but it is not overt. It is kind of masked a little bit, like elements covering up the edges of it, but the core of it is there, if that makes sense. And there is this kind of, again, powdery, floral, sweet, earthy feel. Narcissus is mostly a green, earthy floral, so the greenness kind of comes from there. And there is this bran note. The bran note is strange. It adds this almost food-like weedy scent to the fragrance that might be a make or break for some of you. For me, I happen to like it. I think it's just so different. Bran is a note I've been coming to know a little bit more this year through various fragrances I've checked out in 2024. I think it's a perfect addition to this fragrance, and I think this fragrance overall is a beautifully unique and versatile scent if you love the scent personality. Again, it's different. It may not smell like anything else you've ever tried, but there's something delicate and natural about it, and I love that, but it does stand out. That is Narcisse Taiji from Atelier Materi.
Once again, I'm doing my best with these French words.
I want to add some action to this video. We're going to spray a fragrance right here on camera. Oh yeah.
Action-filled videos, guys. These fragrance videos. I tell you, you'll never be bored.
Wow, lovely stuff. This is from, as you saw from the bottle, maybe you recognized it, Thameen, London. They call this Bohemian Infusion. This is all in the air. I don't even have to smell this up close right now. This fragrance is kind of spicy, fresh, almost fruity smelling. There's something almost sweet about it, but kind of citrusy, fruity, tart in a way. My mouth is watering right now. And it's herbal. I think there's some myrtle in here. There's a lot of ginger. So again, that spiciness, it's more on the warm side. As it dries down, there's some earthier, woodier elements. So again, we have this brightness, freshness for the warmth. We have a darkness or more depth for the cooler weather. So it is perfectly versatile. It does have this familiarity to it in terms of its genre. It does have this tie to the citrus, aromatic, woody fragrances that you may have smelled, but all in all, it is its own thing, and as it dries on the skin, it becomes even more and more different. It's a fantastically versatile fragrance. It is a little bit more on the masculine side, I would say. It does wear a little bit more sophisticated. So if you want something to wear when you want to be taken a little bit more seriously in a fresh-ish way, I would check out Bohemian Infusion. Let me know if you've checked it out already. Our final fragrance is from the house of Ormonde Jayne. It is one of their newest releases. They sent it to me a handful of months ago. If you look on Fragrantica and you look at the seasons in terms of the votes, you'll see that people are saying this is not a summer fragrance, not something to wear in the heat. I can't say I would reach for this on the hottest day of the summer, but I did wear it when it was still warm and it was just fine. This collection overall does have a transparency to them. The fragrances have this musky freshness that is not too dense. It's kind of airy, so I think that lends in its favor to this scent profile, even though it is not an overtly fresh fragrance. They call it Kashmir. They sent me a cashmere scarf with it, which was cool, like 100% cashmere. Beautiful. So the scent is supposed to pay homage to the region of Kashmir, but also actual cashmere. And it does have that feel. There is something kind of soft, woolly, textural, but fresh. There's a floral quality here. It's kind of sweet floral, but light, wrapped up by this kind of fuzzy, musky feel, a little spicy. This stuff makes me smile when I wear it. It's a fragrance that just has elegance written all over it, perfectly unisex and perfectly versatile. Again, maybe not my top choice for beach day in July. Definitely not. There's better options out there, but I would still feel comfortable rocking this on a warmer day when I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of activity that will make me sweat or heat up. Maybe going to lunch or something, maybe going to work, whatever it is, and it's warm. This does fine. In the cooler weather, there is a coziness to it. So I call it versatile. I recommend sampling first and not just using my opinion and experience as a means to buy a full bottle before you've even tried it. We've talked about this before. You know how this goes. There's no rush with this, guys. Take your time. But let me know if you've happened to have tried Ormonde Jayne Kashmir already down in the comments. And if you haven't tried it, once again, links in the description. Let me know what you think. If you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.